So, what's my story? Well, for 30 years, I had a body-wide inflammation health struggle. So for 30 years. And that meant I had, I was bloated belly. I looked pregnant all the time. I was puffy, not only in my body, but in my face as well. I had constant headaches, migraine headaches. My joints ached. I was very hormonal. I was miserable. I was very tired. It was an emotional roller coaster. And I was depressed. I wasn't in a good way. And at the time, I traveled the world for a couple of years. I was backpacking around the world. I worked in corporate. I was lucky enough to work with Cisco Systems back in the 90s. And so I had a very much an international job. I did a lot of travel with them. And then I ran other businesses as well, where I traveled a lot. You get a theme here. I do like my travel. I raised a family. So I did all those things, but actually I was feeling poorly all the way through that, and I was surviving. And I think when you're just surviving, you don't actually realize what good feels like until you actually start feeling good. You then realize how bad you were feeling. So over that 30 years, I went to nutritionists, I went to the doctors, I tried lots of naturopathic things as well as medication from the doctors. And don't get me wrong, the NHS is fantastic and there is 100% a place for modern medicine. But the medicine I was taking, it was literally, well, try this because this might help with that, and then try this because that might help with that, and then they get all the side effects. And eventually I ended up having a couple of very serious operations. And probably wouldn't have needed to have those operations had I not been on the medication and had taken different choices. But it was obviously over a decade ago now where I decided to take things into my own hands. And it was as I was approaching my second operation that I realised, actually I need to start taking responsibility for my own health. And I did my research. I did lots of Googling to find out what would work for me. And literally, I had results within the first week. The first thing that happened was mental clarity and energy boost. But then over the next few weeks, I noticed that my joints weren't aching anymore and my stomach had flattened, and I wasn't so gassy and I didn't feel so horrible in myself. And literally over the next few months, all the symptoms went away. And I'd been carrying those for 30 years. So it's quite awful to think that had I made those lifestyle choices earlier, I wouldn't have struggled the way that I did. So the issues that I had it's a lifestyle disease. The challenges that I'd had with my health were brought on by what I was doing to my body and the choices that I was making. So now, because of that, I now coach others to make sustainable lifestyle change to positively impact their own lives. And I have clients with all sorts of different conditions. Most of them come to me with weight, but actually there's an awful lot more going on. And actually the weight becomes irrelevant once they feel so much better in themselves and their body composition changes and their mental clarity improves. So that's a huge one. So it was a lifestyle disease, and I'm very proud of myself, but I just wish I hadn't waited 30 years to get it sorted.